New year, new chance. We were just discussing things before we started recording, literally about 5 seconds ago. We're going to try something new with this season of RHOBH.
If you know us and you've been listening to us, this is not going to last. I
We're
just
gonna
can't
try.
imagine. We're really going to try. It's just tough, man. It's tough to not be a hater.
But we're not going to be. We're going
Nope.
to try not to be. So buckle up and put on your positive Peter pajamas.
Pants. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
All
that
right,
makes more sense. And since this is a premiere episode, we're going to do a little two-parter for you guys. So make sure that after this episode ends, you just hang on. The next one will start very shortly after.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Hollywood Magooter. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. We are gonna give this the old college try to enjoy this. It's very funny though, because we use Beverly Hills as a point of reference to explain why shows just get stale and boring and they don't make any changes. They've made changes. We're still making those references, but we're going to try a new thing here. We're going to try to be positive about this. If it lasts the whole episode, I will be surprised. But I'm really just trying to like fine tune and, just gear up for trying to like the show. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the thing, guys. Let me talk to you guys for a sec. Everyone take a seat. Take a knee. Everyone take a knee.
Take a knee.
We want to like all the shows, and I think that we do tend to trend negative when we're in the midst of OC and it tends to leak into other shows. I can acknowledge that, but that's because we have a fiery hatred for that show in particular. Both of us at one point in our career enjoyed Beverly Hills. So it's not like OC where we've never really liked it. So like when we shit on a Beverly Hills, a Jersey, it's because we hold them to a higher standard than the other shows. They're supposed to set the tone for the rest of these housewives. It's been a frustrating 5 years watching our mainstays kind of flounder. And I think that's also put a bad taste in our mouth. So we expect more and they tend to deliver less. Now, what I can say about this episode of Beverly Hills in particular, because I saw a lot of things that are just regurgitating things from last year, whatever. What I will say is this. They are trying different things. Production is completely different than it's been in the past, which some would say is just wasting too much time with slow motion walks every scene. Others could say it's a new approach. I'm going to try to look at this season as they are taking some different approaches to this whole thing. So at least they're trying. So therefore, as you've said so eloquently, we'll give it the old college try. I'll try to buy into the new stuff. Okay. And I'll try to be nice about it for at least this episode. And we'll see where we're at.
The thing that I'm really going to hope for this season in particular, because I do think that it was a pretty good start for Rachel. I do like Rachel. I think that she's going to bring something to the table. Obviously, what we need is a shakeup in the core of this show, the way that they react to things. It's always so predictable. You know what they're going to do as soon as they open their mouths. So when we get back to a new season and we just spent the entire offseason making references to the previous season about how Kyle's not sharing anything, Erika's been remodeling her house for a fucking 2-year stretch, and it's not even really a house. It's like a 2-bedroom apartment. Who wants to watch that? Those things add up. Those things get to a point where when we start a new season and we're excited at the prospects of, okay, clean slate, maybe things will be different this time around. And then Kyle goes right into talking about, well, I don't really know. Am I going to date girls? Am I going to date guys? Who knows what's going to happen? It's like, you should tell us what's going on. And look, if you don't know what's going on and you're confused, then tell us that you're confused. Like, have a real moment, because that's all we really want. And I think the bar is very low for somebody like Kyle, because if you give us anything about where your mindset is, what's going on, we're going to be okay with that. You've been on the show long enough. You're still likable. You're just boring. And that's really what we've gotten to with that.
I
I
think
do have
I think you
hopes.
can label the entire show with that one sentence right there.
Likable but boring.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe this. But the emergence of Rachel coming in, I think that she's going to shake it up a little bit, and I hope that the new girl, because I have some hopes, at least for Amanda, with that preseason trailer. You know what to look forward to this year on Beverly Hills. I do think that she might have enough messiness. What we need for this show is to be messy as possible. If we can get to a messy level, it will shake the core. And I think Dorit could be part of that because she's very influenced by people around her. Let's just say that. We saw her completely change her entire demeanor and personality last year because she got a friend in Boz. So now she's a new person. If we get messy, I feel like Dorit could go down there. Sutton's never going to go down there, but Sutton's getting to a point where we already know what to expect from Sutton. Kyle, we'll see. I just want them to be uncomfortable. I think that's what I want. I want these women to get uncomfortable because they've gotten way too comfortable resting on their laurels of what they've done in seasons past. That's just not how it works anymore. You need to give us new, fresh material. I don't care about your life check-in if nothing's really changed.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that they've been able to do on this cast, because it's Beverly Hills and because they're going to get numbies no matter what. For example, Jersey was not paused because of a lack of viewership. It was paused because people didn't like what they were watching. They were still doing numbies. So Beverly Hills will always get the numbers. Like, there's no doubt there. But the big issue for me with the majority, actually all of this cast, has simply been they're so concerned about PR. They're so concerned about their image that they don't give us authenticity. And I understand that this group of women in particular, they tend to be upper echelon as far as it's different when you're high society in LA, right? That's not the same as being high society in Utah or even Miami. It's different. There's more wealth, there's more notoriety. That's what drew us to the show originally, that and seeing the lavish lifestyles of Beverly Hills. But a caveat of that is that they're more concerned about how they look. So we've seen a much milder product over the past few years because they are more self-conscious about their image. What I think an Amanda will do and why that's good, Rachel seems to give off this vibe as well. They don't seem to care as much. Like Amanda, when you get somebody younger in there that's going to mix things up, not overly concerned with her image. As far as we know, this is a lot of speculation based on a trailer, but given the way she's coming in saying that she's not bending the knee to people, but it's different than new housewives in the past. Like, Boz didn't come in, I'm not bending the knee. She just came in and was like, I'm going to feel everybody out and see where it goes. It feels like you have somebody here that doesn't want to subscribe to what everyone else is doing, not afraid to stand against them, not afraid to talk some shit, and wants to have her own thing in this cast. And I think that's something that we can look forward to with a little bit of hope, is somebody coming in to make a name for themselves separate from the group, because other people have come in and tried to align with the group. It feels like Amanda's coming in with her own thing. I'm cool with that. And I think that will shake up the rest of the cast. We get that clip over and over and over and over and over again of Kyle saying it could be Brad or Angelina. Great. We can put that to bed probably. So we have some things here. There is a route we can go where this is a good show. It is entertaining, even if it's like a stumbling but starting to get up off the floor kind of thing. I'm cool with it. They, like you said, the bar is so low that they just need to have a cohesive season, relatively cohesive, and we're on the rise, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's funny that you reference the trailer too, and just trying to like build some sort of idea of who Amanda is without knowing who Amanda is. I did the same thing, except I immediately went to something's going on here. There's MLM vibes. There's some sort of tax fraud, some sort of Ponzi scheme. I would love that because that is what I think Beverly, allegedly, of course, in my own brain, just kind of mapping out the future. But I do think that it's important to note adding 2 new housewives, not, a housewife and a friend of, or a housewife and somebody that we've known from the past that already knows how the game is played. You had 2 new fresh housewives, and you could argue that Rachel's been on Bravo before. She kind of understands how things work, but I think she's her own entity, and I think she's big enough where she can do whatever the fuck she wants. And she's not worried about, okay, this is how Housewives works. Like, this is how the show works. This is what we're going to do. I don't think that she's necessarily worried about that. And you throw in a wild card like Amanda, that we're kind of projecting what she's going to do. It changes the scheme of the show. Whereas last year, you added Boz to an already established group of women who have been on this show for years. She's still going to be molded into what she thinks works. So yeah, she had that feel out period. She wanted to learn everybody's names, figure out what they're about. How am I going to be friends with this person? Whatever. She just kind of went along with what the show was already
We
doing.
saw at the reunion, we saw her pivot fully.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now you're aligning. Okay.
Yeah, there's a divide in there where she's like, okay, I'm friends with Dorit. I'm friends, I'm getting closer to Kyle. And she just kind of did more of the same that we've gotten used to. And that's what happens when you add one housewife who's not completely disruptive. I mean, obviously, if you add like a Monica Garcia to Beverly Hills, it would be chaos for one season and one season only because it would shake them to their core. Yeah, Boz, she understands what's going on. She doesn't really want to share a whole lot. She doesn't want to get mixed up in anything right away, which I think is generally the right approach as a new housewife.
Yeah, and she's fine. I like Boz.
I still like Boz, and I still think that she's a clay that can still be molded. And it depends on how this season goes because you have two new housewives coming in. Rachel Zoe being her own thing, Amanda seemingly trying to shake things up. That could change the outlook on the show because it could get a couple people out of their comfortable places. And it could also influence somebody like Boz, who's like, oh shit, okay, we can just go burn this shit to the ground right now if we want to. That would be cool. And I think that's what they need right now. So that's what my hope is. So I'm still at the point where I'm hopeful for the season that maybe adding a couple of new faces is the trick, where we still have the allure of Kyle Richards, Erika Jane for what she is. All of those things come into it, and we get to still watch Dorit and PK's divorce fallout and all that shit. But we have new things going on too that could affect the rest of the cast. I don't want just individual storylines that don't really add up. I want somebody to do something that fucks somebody else over that then just creates chaos because we need something chaotic at some point this season.
Yeah, we haven't had that. We've had spats between housewives over trivial shit, which is normal, but that's what's been missing is that core like, oh shit moment on this show. We haven't had a good oh shit in a while. So there. See? Positive Peters. We're trying.
I do love the idea of people who really love Beverly Hills tuning into our episode, and within like 2 minutes, we're already like, yeah, we're going to try really hard to like this show. And maybe they're fans of OC too, and they didn't listen to us doing OC because they couldn't handle us just ripping it apart. And they're like, yep, we're not going to tune in for this one. I would love to see the metrics where it's like, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, we lost 15,000 listeners.
Yeah.
Okay. That checks out. It's all right.
Look, there's reason to be hopeful. Obviously, we just laid out a bunch. So we're going into this not passing judgment. We're going to let the ladies speak for themselves. Optimistic, cautiously optimistic is where we like to live.
If we get pissed off about something that happens this episode,
That's
it
different.
Doesn't mean that the sky is falling. It doesn't mean that we're already just saying the show sucks. We can still reserve hate for certain people on this show and the way that they react to things without it spilling over to, well, the whole thing sucks. Just burn it and throw it in the trash.
Yeah. All right. We're all on the same page now. Good preamble. That was a 15-minute prelude to let you guys know that this season's going to be different for now.
You told them to take a knee too. Did they take a knee for 15 minutes? Because that
Hopefully you switch knees or else your leg's probably asleep. Everyone, you can hop up now. All right.
Yeah.
Hands in.
We didn't have them sitting like Indian style. That would suck too.
Hands in, bros on 3. 1, 2, 3, bros. Okay, good. All right. Let's get into this episode. And here, this is a great example of me looking at it differently now because originally I wrote down overproduced intro. Why are we wasting our time? Now I'm saying, okay, we're trying a new route. I'm okay with that. And I actually, like, the more that I think about it, and I do think I went into it with a little bias just because of years past.
You texted me halfway through the episode and said, well, Beverly Hills sucks.
I know. So I do think I went into it like a little bit biased and grumpy. It was also a long ass day and I was cranky. So I don't know how I feel about, I'm more open to it now that we've had our positive conversation. Because it's Hollywood and Beverly Hills, are we okay with it taking on like a bit more of a cheesy approach of like slow-mos out of the car, like a little more Hollywood? Like, is that okay? Because it fits the vibe.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. See, guys?
I
Hell
kind
yeah.
of tune. I honestly, the way that I watch, because we watch all of the shows. We spend a lot of time watching these shows. I've gotten to a point where I think my brain does just kind of like go into rest mode
Okay.
during the interim scenes, like in the beginning of an episode. If something just pops off right away, or it was a to be continued and we're jumping right back into some sort of spat, I'm going to be activated right away. For a show like this, it almost always starts off with little clip scenes, boom, 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 that mean nothing. I
Yeah.
do not care. And then, like you said, with the slow mos, my brain is still, asleep. And then it'll
Okay.
pop up as soon as the scene starts.
All right. Well, that's a good place to be too. But we start out with Boz and Dorit. And it's Boz's birthday, or recently was her birthday. So Dorit regifts an Hermes blanket that she had in her closet, which is very nice of Dorit, because I'm sure she wanted to keep it. But
Also,
they
shout
have,
out to Reed real quick. She just faked it till she made it.
yeah,
With all the Chanel and all the things that she was doing. And it's like, oh my God, lady. If I see one more confessional look where you just have a huge Chanel logo on your chest or on your head, I'm going to lose my mind. She finally got it. She got an ambassadorship. So good for
oh,
her.
she did?
I'm proud of her. Yeah.
Oh,
You
good
didn't see
for
that?
her. No, that's
Yeah.
great. All those
It's
years.
massive, massive news. And she needs the money. So let's go.
she desperately needs the money. So that's good that she got it now. But we get a little Dorit update, and these two have become very close over the off season, which is nice, actually. I think that's also a reason for hope, is that Dorit found some footing in the group separate from Kyle, or separate
Yeah.
from somebody else. So they're giving a little Dorit and PK update, and obviously we all saw that picture of PK making out with somebody on the street. I love that Dorit filed for divorce that same exact day. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
fuck that guy. And it was also the same day that Jagger had a baseball game, and we get that iconic picture of those two at the ball game, sitting on opposite sides of the bleachers. I guess they didn't even talk that entire day. But PK had the balls to file for joint custody. Who are you fooling, dude? We've been watching you be a quote unquote dad for years. You're one
Tax
of the
breaks.
worst on Bravo.
It's tax breaks.
Oh, yeah,
He
that
gets
you're totally
dependency.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, that's all he wants. That's all he cares about. I still am of the thinking that he's flat broke and he's just living on credit, other people's money, probably just taking in small loans. Like, I don't know if I doubt he has any sort of trust. I doubt that he has any sort of like current businesses that are actually paying for anything. We actually claimed years ago, allegedly, that was part of an insurance scam, all of the robberies and all that bullshit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I did say allegedly.
I was
So,
just doubling down.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Double down. Yeah, we could triple down, allegedly. But yeah, I don't see him bringing in any like earth shattering money right now. So that as soon as that happened, one, I don't really, it is a PR move, but I don't think he gives a fuck about PR. So my brain immediately goes to, oh, tax breaks. He's got dependents. He can just file and just say, yeah, I've got 2 kids that I have to pay for, and he gets tax breaks.
I'm going to post this on Instagram. Bet me he comments on it again. Remember, he
Oh,
told us
boy.
that we still believe in Santa Claus.
We do, you
Yeah,
piece of shit.
yeah, sorry that your wonder and imagination has gone out the window, you fucking loser, but we still
Yeah.
have hope and joy, dick.
God, what a
But
Grinch.
and not for nothing, Boy George had a hell of a career, but I don't think he's pulling in those residuals anymore. So I
No.
don't know where he gets his money. I don't really know what he does other than abandon his kids to go party in London. So that's not lucrative. That's the opposite. That costs money. But anyway, I think that we're splitting hairs. D. Start calling her D. I think we're splitting hairs here. Okay. Because she got a text from Kyle 4 days after all of this shit went down. Right. And then she goes into this rant about post reunion. She was more hopeful. She still has hope, but she's saying 4 days from event to text is just not nice. What the fuck, Kyle? Like, she forgot about whatever. Given where you guys were less than a year ago, can we not just say, oh, I'm glad Kyle checked on me? Isn't that enough?
Yeah, and I actually expected this to be, she texted me today. She texted me yesterday, which would be in line with what Kyle's done in the past, texting right before filming, trying to clear the air before the cameras come out. That's what Kyle does. The fact that she texted you 4 days after and you guys still weren't filming for a few more months, at least in my timeline,
Right.
that's fine. Like,
I thought
what's the
so.
issue? So I don't really know. I agree with you. I think she's splitting hairs.
Well, I think she assumes that friendship with Kyle means we go back to how we were.
Yes.
Like, I think that's where she's at. It's like that.
Even though she said at the reunion, like, it's going to look different and we're going to work through things. So
Right.
we'll just have to find this newfound friendship and figure out what our boundaries are. Now you expect it to just go back to normal? Like,
Yeah, your
so you didn't
expectations
mean
are too
anything,
high.
which we already knew you at reunions. You don't mean anything that you say at reunions. You're a
I don't
different
think
person.
she knows what she
I
says
get
at
it.
the reunion. I think she
No,
blacks
that's true
out.
too.
Yeah, so I think our expectations are too high, Dorit. I think we need to just be like, "Oh, she texted me. That's enough."
Yeah.
Because you guys weren't even talking for months last year. So let's get to Kyle and the girls. All of her daughters are at home. I like this. I like the dynamic seeing Kyle with her kids. I think that
Yeah.
her daughters are very interesting and they have such a good camera presence, probably from being on TV since they were children.
Portia called Mo a hoe.
It was great. It was all good
Unbelievable.
shit. I love that,
Yeah.
they're texting. Like, this is what I want to hear, because in my head, I'm assuming, and they do this to us on purpose. They frame it because we don't hear from the daughters that they're probably so upset with Mo and it's so hard and like ruining their family. No, they're texting like, "Hey, dickhead, like do less."
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like, I love hearing that kind of stuff. And I think another big thing it does for Kyle, who has had such an inauthentic few years where we're all like, dude, show us the real you, talk about real shit. You get to see a pretty genuine Kyle. Like,
Right.
her back and forth with her daughters is great. What they're talking about is really interesting because we're talking about Mo a little bit, the effect that it's having on Kyle, who is pretty much over everything. Now she just kind of rolls her eyes at the pictures. But I'm glad that we got this little not even a reprieve, that we got to dive into her family dynamic more, because we don't get stuff like this a lot.
No, we don't. And usually reprieve is the right word because that's how we typically view these family
Yeah, I
scenes.
guess
It's a
you're
nice
right.
reprieve from the chaos that's going on within the women. This is different. This is like Kyle's comfort zone. And I love that we get to see these girls, the women, the young women that she's raised.
Mhm.
It's so different than what we talk about all the time when it's usually younger kids that they're having storylines about them, but they're not involved in it. They don't know that their mom is telling the whole general public what the kid is going through when they're 8, 9, 10 years old. This
Yeah,
is
they're
way
not
different.
telling the
This is
world that you have autism when you're fucking 7,
Yeah,
Emily.
exactly. So this is way different. This is mature women that have grown up that understand what the impact that their public figure father is doing to them. I imagine that half of them, some of them are out of college, a lot of them are still in college. They're probably walking around campuses like, "Oh, did you see what your dad did?" It fucks them up. So yeah, I like this. This is real. This is actual. And this is when you're going to get the most genuine Kyle because that's her comfort zone.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see, and I actually really enjoyed it. Then we move on to get reintroduced to Rachel Zoe. She's interesting because her tone and demeanor stays at a neutral zone
Mhm.
the entire time she talks, no matter what she's talking about. But
Yep.
we get to learn more about her and where she's at now. She is very close with Kim. Kim, Jesus, yeah, Kim,
Happy.
Kathy, Kim. Is Kim the other sister?
Yes.
There you go. But she's very close with Kathy Hilton. She was her stylist for a while. She's a stylist to the stars. We get a montage of who she has helped get dressed and all of those different helped get dressed. That's what
Get
that's what stylists
dressed.
do. Put your
Toddlers.
I'll hold the pants. Now put your nope, wrong leg. Wrong leg. Damn it. Wrong leg. No. Picked out clothes for her. And she talks about kind of everything she does. I don't know a lot about Rachel Zoe, but it's a pretty impressive lineup as far as what she's got going on. She's got all these different businesses. She is a consultant for a lot of businesses. I don't know her background. She appears very successful on her own doing. So we love that. We love a strong, independent woman. It's always interesting to hear about how rich people treat their kids in the summers. She's like, well, he's going to France for 2 weeks. Then he's going summer camp for a month. I'll see him right before school starts. I'll miss him, though. I'm going to miss those
It's
little
that
rascals.
It's the line of using summer as a verb. Once you
Yeah.
start using summer as a verb, you're rich. Like
Yeah.
that's how you know that you've made it. My kid's summer over here and I summer over there. It's like that is not a fucking verb, but you guys
No.
just made it your own. I could never say that. If I said that I summer at the Jersey Shore,
We
I would
summer
get so
down
many weird
Wildwood,
looks.
dude.
Yeah, dude, we summer down Wildwood. We get Sam's Pizza.
Hell
But
yeah, brother.
I mean, look, again, this is great because it seems like we've caught Rachel at a great time. It's
In her
not
life, right?
fresh. Yeah, we're not fresh off of the separation/divorce. We're a year removed. So she's had some time to work through it. She's had the discussion. Her kids understand. Her kids are some of the most mature. Now, we didn't really meet Skylar too much, but the other one, what's the other one's name? Caius?
I don't
Something
know.
Roman.
I wrote Klaus.
No,
Young
it's
Klaus.
Caius. No,
Caius.
the only reason I remember Caius is because it just sounds like a Roman emperor at some point, and that's probably what he's named after.
Yeah, Caius.
Either way,
He was. Caius was a Roman emperor.
yeah. So that's what she's going for, and that again tells me that you're rich. Now, obviously, we have to deal with Dorit's kids, Phoenix, but
Phoenix Jagger.
Jagger. Yeah, I like those fucking names. The names that pop up always just amuse me. But I do think that we caught her at a great time in her life because she's had enough time to quote unquote heal from the divorce. We get to hear the whole backstory about her husband. And obviously, if you watched her show years ago, which was like 2012, 2013 or something, you understand what the dynamic was over there when she was pregnant and all the things that had to go into that. We get a little catch up. And it was a very efficient and succinct catch up, which I always appreciate. We don't have these long, drawn out explanations of where you've been for the last 10 years. And that comes with, I think, having camera presence, understanding how shows work, understanding how the viewers are going to perceive you. If you spend just a quick, efficient amount of time to explain where you've been for the last 10 years and what's been going on, we're going to love that. We are going to move right back on. It's like, okay, cool. Thanks for the catch up. Now what are we doing?
You're totally right. That's the best way to introduce us to somebody, especially a reintroduction is, I think, give her the respect of having been on this show for a while. So it's almost like, here's what's going on. And if you want to know more, you should do your own damn research because she's been here before. I'm cool with that.
She's been here before, and everybody on the cast knows who she is and actually has, rubbed elbows with her. She's friends with Kathy. She's seen Kyle and Aspen. She's done a lot of things with other people. Erika knows who she is. So it works out really well. And again, that goes back into the new hire thing. You've got one new hire who Kathy knows very well. Kyle, assumingly, knows really well. And then you get Amanda, who's an unknown entity. Boom.
Yep.
Clash.
Good duo. Good duo. And we learn about Roger, her ex. I'm curious about this one. I think there's more to this story because she's saying that, we had kids and things just changed. We wanted different things. We grew apart. He's Grateful Dead. I'm Saint Bart's, whatever.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. But
I mean, he follows Dead and Company around the country.
I'm assuming she's saying his vibe is more of that and her vibe is more of Saint Bart's, which is fine. But yeah, she's putting a lot of the onus on Roger. So that's where I'm like, oh, I wonder.
Not here to defend
every story, right? Yeah. And so I don't know if we're going to get that other side of it, but we get an awful montage of him when they were working together, just berating her. Didn't look great. He was berating his other employees. So I don't know if that was a bad moment for Roger or if that is who Roger is. I'm sure we'll find out a bit more.
Yeah.
But we get to go see Erika, Jane, and Kyle hanging out, and they're headed over to Sutton's house. And Reba is in LA.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yep, we got Reba from Augusta all the way out to the West Coast, and obviously their relationship is much better now. It seems like much better than it's ever been. They're kicking at the house. Reba's playing the piano. They're just shooting the shit. It seems it's nice. It's a nice thing to see.
It's nice. And me being a cynic, I'm looking for any sort of red flag to pop up. Why are you really here? What's going on? And I can't find anything. Honestly, it's really just a continuation of Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton going down there and talking to her and having Reba finally say that she loves Sutton. It's just a continuation. They worked on their relationship in the offseason. It wasn't anybody's business. We didn't hear anything about it. Start of episode 1, they're good. She's basically hanging out with her all the time. She's going in and out. She knows how to do FaceTime, as Sutton says. So that works.
Yeah. It's like when Snow Miser defrosts. You remember when his heart melts in what is that?
You are combining a couple
Santa Claus is
movies.
Coming to Town.
Nope, that's Year Without a Santa Claus. It's
Year Without a Santa Claus. Yeah, no, his heart melts or some shit because Snow Miser. It's he had ice around.
Snow Miser and Heat Miser, and then their Mother Nature. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
He's Mr. Heat Miser.
They come to a compromise.
He's Mr. Sun.
Yes, they come to a compromise where Heat Miser allows it to snow in the South once because they need to believe in Santa.
What a great movie. Claymation needs to come back, but old school claymation, don't fucking give me AI claymation. Take the time and do it yourself.
And just
Wallace
give me the big snowman in the vest and top hat to narrate everything. That's
yeah. With who was that? God.
Frosty the Snowman, I think it was.
Yeah. What is that? Is that Now I gotta look it up. Then we'll get back on track, guys.
Sam the Snowman from Rudolph is
Vernon
Burl Ives.
Burl Ives. That's it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Hell
He
yeah.
sings A Holly Jolly Christmas and Rudolph
Yep.
the Red-Nosed. Oh, he sings Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Fuck
That's what I was
yeah.
saying. He's yeah. I knew it. That's awesome.
I don't
Anyway,
even care if we cut this part. This is electric.
I'm leaving most of it. And updates on the Erika Jane Sutton front. They are cordial, it appears. Obviously, with Erika going to her house, they're in a decent place, which is really the only place we need them to be, because without fail, shit's going to pop off. They're going to get frustrated at each other. Probably going to be Sutton's fault, but whatever.
I see. I view it differently right now. I do think that the emergence of no Garcelle in Sutton's life is going to cause Sutton to do whatever the fuck Kyle wants to do. And if
I have a
Kyle's
whole
close
theory.
to Erika, she's just going to try to get close to them, and she's going to be a yes man for them or a yes woman for them. She's just going to try to agree with everything that they're talking about and not ruffle the feathers for a little bit. But I agree. At some point, something's going to happen where Sutton's going to do something stupid or get in a spat with like Dorit, which I do think that what Sutton's goal is this year is to just take a back seat. Whether she does that or not is completely up to her. But I think what she wants to do going into it is be friendly with everybody, not start any shit, not get into the middle of things, and then just try to move forward with them, which good for her, I guess, because it's less stress. Bad for the show because she's not going to get involved, which, by the way, we've said this in the past. If issue and some sort of conflict is happening with Sutton and that's going to take center stage, the show sucks. And we've done that for the last 2 years, and it sucks.
Exactly. So my theory with the Sutton stuff, I meant to mention it when we were talking about reasons to be optimistic in the beginning. I feel like with the absence of Garcelle, it's exactly what you said. We're going to see a very agreeable Sutton. And unfortunately, the only way that this show may work is if you have that united Kyle front, because we've watched for a few years now, Garcelle did not subscribe to Kyle's shit. And I loved that about Garcelle. I loved that she was like the only one that's like, no, fuck this. I'm not falling in line with your group.
Yep.
But it's made the show very clunky because we have not been able to get to that zone of neutrality, at least, where it's like, okay, we can be cordial. Like, it always leads to complete dysfunction in the group. So this show might only work if you don't have somebody on it that is completely anti-Kyle. Not that Garcelle was like anti-Kyle, that she hated her or anything like that, because she would try multiple times. It was more so when shit pops off, she's not just agreeing with Kyle's team so that they can move on from it. So I think that with Sutton being more agreeable, falling back in line with Kyle a little bit, I think you're going to see a smoother show, whether that's how it should go or not. I think it's going to make things a little bit smoother and allow us to not get stuck on certain storylines that are just about, will Kyle understand what she's doing is wrong, or is she still going to stay on that side? Like, that has been such a routine for us year after year that I think this somewhat removes that from the show, which could give us just, more scenes where it's the group hanging out, having fun, more scenes where we're not yelling at each other, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And having a little bit of time removed from how the show has been going in the last 2 years, I understand what you're talking about, where Garcelle would take offense to it, or she would look at things a little differently. And maybe she was looking at it from even a show standpoint. This is boring. Nobody's questioning Kyle. Kyle's getting away with whatever she wants. Erika's getting away with whatever she wants. Let me just question some things. Now, the problem with that was most of the time Garcelle didn't do that herself. She would use Sutton as her dirty work person. So Sutton would get involved. And maybe, look, I actually take that back. I don't want to say that she used Sutton to do that. She would get in Sutton's ear. She would have those one-on-one conversations, questioning Kyle, questioning Dorit, questioning Erika. And then Sutton would put her foot in her mouth and then go and say it. Yeah. And that never worked, because even if you are strategizing and using tactics to try to do something and drum up some sort of chaos in the show, Sutton's not the person to do that with. Garcelle would have to take matters into her own hands, and she would do that, but sparingly. And when she did it, she would always just kind of like question it. And then when the person would come back with a retort, she'd be like, okay, I'm out. I don't really care.
Well, because she has no support,
pretty much,
right?
She has
like
no
she was
support
going up against 5 people.
Yeah, she's going up against 5 people, and her only backup is Sutton, who just gets quiet when people go after her, unless she's in a mood. So it never really worked out. And I understand, again, we talk about this a lot, which at first kind of annoyed me, talking about Garcelle leaving the show and how they're stunned. But now I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Part of me wanted to just kind of move on and not talk about Garcelle leaving because I don't really want to hear what they have to say.
She
But
may as well have been on the damn show with how many times they talked about her.
yeah, they talked about it the whole time, but I don't really know because I think we're going to get a completely different story from the women on the show. And I don't think Garcelle's going to chime in. Like, we might get a comment here
She
and there on
shouldn't.
things on Instagram. What I get from all of this is obviously her contract was up. She was done. She didn't want to do the show anymore. She's got other things to do. She's done with everybody on the show, which kind of proves
Yeah.
our theory over the last couple of years of we need friends on housewife shows. We need people who actually hang out together. And all this episode told me is you guys don't hang out in the off season. You guys don't do anything together. Like the fact that Dorit is saying, wow, I haven't checked in with Kyle in a while. And Kyle's saying, yeah, I haven't seen Rachel in a while. It's like, okay, what do you mean? Like, what? You guys don't do anything together. You don't see each other at social events. There's nothing to talk about from the off season. The good shows on Bravo, like Salt Lake, like, you know, Potomac, Miami, they all spend time together. We see pictures of them in the off season all the time doing things together. Or, wow, look who I ran into. And then we talked for a half an hour. It's like, okay, you guys actually run in the same circles. When we get to Beverly Hills, it's like, wow, I haven't seen you in 6 months because you stopped filming 6 months ago. It's just annoying.
No, I completely agree. And will I miss Garcelle? Absolutely. I love Garcelle. I thought she was the only person on the show that would raise questions. And again, it's hard to double down on that shit if you look around and the only support you have is Sutton. I agree. I think she got to the end of her contract, looked around the room, was like, nobody in this fucking room supports me. They always try to throw me under the bus. Why am I going to waste my time? My production company's doing well. I'm getting acting roles. Like, she has all this shit going on that's just like positive. I feel like filming for this show was probably that little dread that she just had in the back of her head every day. Like, oh my God, I get to go to Atlanta and I'm recording my new movie or filming my new movie. And then I got to fly back here to LA to film something for another show that I'm working on. And then, oh, fuck, I got to meet Sutton later to record this stupid fucking show. So farewell, Garcelle. You will be missed. I will definitely miss her presence on the show. But like I said earlier, she shouldn't chime in because it's not worth her time. Like, she's on to bigger and better things. Like, she doesn't owe these women any explanations for anything. So
no.
Anyway, the big news from this, and we saw this in the off season, is Avi. Avi is no longer with us. Avi got fired. Avi's still alive. And this is definitely not the whole story. We definitely have a lot more here. We've seen pictures couple months ago, and it was Avi with Garcelle, and that obviously tells you a story right there. There's more to this. Something went down. I'm assuming Sutton is probably the problem here, and we had the pleasure of talking to Avi a few times. Delightful man, really is. So I'm curious what that is. This is not the last we're going to hear about it for sure. We will definitely, hopefully, get most of this story, and it may come in form. And this would be awesome if she says enough throughout the season. And what I will say about Sutton is she's good about not shitting on people that don't defend themselves, at least for in her life. Like, she didn't shit on Garcelle. She didn't shit on Avi.
Yeah, she didn't shit on either of them. But there's also another aspect to that. She doesn't want to talk about it. And I think this is probably good for Sutton because in the past we've seen her expand on things that we really don't need her to expand on. And she ends up saying too much and then she says the wrong thing. So I think this is a much better approach where I think it's awkward. And obviously Avi left because Avi left. Sutton and him didn't just disagree on something and then fired him. We know about all of that. Avi went on social media a lot. Avi went on a fucking podcast and talked about it. You know who he talked about it with was, oh my God. Who was that maid? No, not the maid. Oh my God. He went on Tom Sandoval's assistant. Remember the Ariana and Tom Sandoval? I can't remember her name. That's gonna bother me. But he went on a podcast that was run by Tom and Ariana's assistant to talk about what was going on with Sutton. So there was a lot of things in the offseason about what happened with Avi. Obviously, he left. So don't talk more about it because you're going to put yourself in a bad place. Obviously, Garcelle moved on. She's not talking to any of you. You're not going to do yourself any favors by sitting here and trashing Garcelle. I do think that Erika and some part of Kyle probably wanted Sutton to start talking shit on Garcelle, not because they wanted her to be part of their team, but because they want to put Sutton in an awkward position where she's going to say something wrong. And then later they can say, well, now we understand why Garcelle left. Now we understand why you guys aren't really friends. They're going to burn her at some point. They always burn her. So I think the smart thing for Sutton to do right now is just kind of stay quiet on it.
I agree. I'm just curious what the rest of that Avi story is going to be. And are we going to hear from Avi again about it if Sutton says the wrong thing this season? Will we get an Avi retort on X, Twitter, or whatever the fuck it's called?
Definitely.
I'm curious.
X, the everything app?
It's
all happening on X.
Yeah, no, it's not. Everybody arrives for lunch at Sutton's. She announces that her ex surprised her with an annulment. I truly don't understand why everyone's so up in arms about this. I get it from like a you surprised me with this standpoint, like you just dropped this on me. I don't think it changes the standing of, you know, her getting her alimony or child support. Well, I guess the kids are over 18, so just alimony. But it's like this whole thing where it's like, this is fucked up. It's like you guys were already not together. Like this doesn't this just make it like legal?
Full stop separated. And from what I understand, it sounds like Christian waited until the kids were over 18 and away at college to do this.
Right. Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you are. And then they involved the Catholic Church into this, which was bizarre too.
I think the annulment is religious based. No.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I mean it also has to do with
it's also a legal thing,
marital status and legal things. But again, the timing makes sense to me. We'll stay quote unquote married until the kids are of age, and then once they're independent and legal for themselves, we can just move on. And I don't really get it.
The surprise, okay, that's fucked up. Like surprising her with it, okay, fine, but like it seems to be more than that. Where it's like, how could he? It's like you guys aren't together though.
Yeah, like I really liked the last name. I don't want to go. What is her maiden name?
Brown.
Yeah.
Sutton Brown.
Sutton Brown. I actually kind of like that.
Sutton Strack has a better ring to it. I will give her that.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. I don't care. Is probably the
exactly. It's there. Like, why are we wasting time with this? Like, I get it to mention it, sure, but then it's like it comes back up.
But then a whole scene of everybody being like, "That's fucked up," is bizarre to me.
Yep. But they do start talking about PK smooching, and obviously Kyle has had a lot of experience with this because of Mo and just like what it feels like. Obviously, Dorit is upset about the just how PK's carrying himself, understandably so. The dude's a fucking scumbag. But that brings into question. PK and Kyle have this weird friendship text relation. I don't know, whatever. So they ask her, "You still talking to PK?" Pause, unconfident. I've severed all ties.
Yeah. That was a little bizarre. That tells me that you're still talking to him.
They're still talking.
I think that she's probably talking to PK more than she's talking to Mo right now, which is very funny.
Dorit.
And it might be an ends to a means of
let
me find out. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck I just did that. But I think it's probably just a way to keep tabs on Mo. Like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? And you know what? I'm sure that PK is probably initiating some of it. It's a very weird friendship that I don't care for anymore, because if we get back into the Kyle's talking to PK and this is what's going on and Dorit's mad at Kyle again, I don't want to do it again. I just don't care. Either. So I would hope that Kyle understands that we don't give a shit about that and we don't want to do that again. So don't talk about PK. I know, but don't talk about PK. Don't say anything. Just say that you severed all ties. Who the fuck cares? It's not like Dorit's going to go through your phone and look at things. And if she does, then that's on her.
Yeah, and then you have a reason to be mad at her.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think that was the one thing when I texted you that this sucked, was because they don't hang out in the off season at all.
Yep.
All we have to discuss at the moment is just rehashing legit every storyline from last season is all we're talking about. Now, it wasn't terrible, and I'm not saying that's the rest of the season, but it does show you and indicate that this group is not tight because we don't
Yeah.
have anything to talk about from when we stopped filming to now. So
Yeah,
that's
the
just
only
one
things that
little
we have to talk about are Sutton and Avi are no longer, and the fallout from Garcelle, which had to be addressed anyway. The rest of it is getting to know Rachel, and we'll have a similar episode when we get to know Amanda. Everything else is just rehashing. Everything else is let's talk about where we are now. Well, we're 4 months removed from the last time that we talked about this. Where do you stand now? I don't care. Like, and
No, me
that's
neither.
look, that might be an us problem because
Maybe.
we did look at the last season and the season prior as boring as hell, and we don't really want to rehash these things. But again, for the people that really enjoy this show, maybe they want to know where people are. Maybe they,
Yeah,
maybe we
maybe.
just need to look. We need to have a little perspective on our
We're
lives. We need to look
trying.
inner us, inner bros.
Inner bros. Connect with your inner bro. You have to. Bitch
we
from
should
your
do
have
that.
to.
We should have like a fun like sound. We should do all the things that we talk about on this show. Like we should have a health space, but it's for bros, and you got to discover your inner bro. We've got sound baths in there. That would be fun.
Oh, I think it'd be a good time to do that because I think there is a negative connotation with the word bro right now because of
Yeah.
all these dumbass bros, ironically, with podcasts. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of them are podcasters and a lot of
We
them are
didn't start that. It's not our fault.
no. And just because
Right?
they're a bunch of red pill douchebags spouting off misogynistic bullshit, that's not what being a bro is. Being a bro is being in touch with your emotions
Yeah,
and
being carefree,
yeah, all right.
surfing.
So we're trying to fix the word a little bit because a lot of stupid fucking men have ruined it. But we're working on it, guys. That is our
We're trying.
mission statement. Pretty much just trying to show people what being masculine should look like. This is it.
Yeah.
Not some dickhead in a spaghetti tank top telling you that you're getting sick because of olive oil. That's fucking stupid. And just a quick reminder, this is a two-parter, so make sure that you continue to listen so you hear the second part to this whole debacle. Don't worry why my hat changed.